So welcome everyone. I'm super happy to be here with you. And I am Guglielmo Poli. I am the director of Reconnective Academy International. That is the international institution that has the, very huge honor, but also very huge responsibility to create and to event organize all the training program of reconnective healing and the reconnection around the world with me. And this is a lot for me. It's a full pleasure to do for the first time after years of being colleagues, okay, a call with our John Fowler and Cecilia Sams. Hello, both of you.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I think really that all of you from the USA, you know very well these two beautiful souls, but I'm leaving them for, just one moment, present themselves. So Cecilia, if you want to start.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm so excited to see you all and to be part of this group, to be part of Reconnective Healing as a whole. Absolutely. So I wanted to share with you you wanted me to share, yes? Okay.
Just to introduce you for the moment.
I am Cecilia Sams. I'm looking forward to telling you more and sharing more with you. Yes.
And Joan?
Hi, I'm Joan Fowler, and I have been doing this work since 2008. Cecilia, when did you start? 2004, I think.
2005. 2004 is
2005.
when I found it, and then 2005 I took my training.
Oh my gosh. And both of us have had the opportunity to teach around the world, so it's really it's been quite a journey, and certainly one of growth, personal growth.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's exactly what I'm saying all the time, during the training programs, that being an instructor of reconnective healing, really, when you are on the stage and you are trying, to explain it to the others, when you are doing a Zoom presentation and you're trying, to give, this piece of the reality that we are living that we don't perceive if someone else is not asking, is not telling us that is existing. So this is a little of mystery, trying all the time to explain it in the appropriate way. This is making us more and more aware of what reconnective healing is. So no one is teaching reconnective healing actually. Everyone is learning more and more and more. And sometimes in front of us, like in the situation of the three of us, okay, it's with a public, an audience that is listening also you. But sometimes it's also during the sessions. Sometimes it's just thinking about our life, giving us the time, to have a conscious observation of our path, of our journey to this planet, and more and more and more. So I totally agree with you, Joan. And also we have another very important group of people that they are the life leaders, that of course, again, so this is a specific, very, very unique team, of people that is, I don't know if it's correct telling it's brainstorming. Maybe it's a soul storming. Okay, let me use. You know that I'm Italian, so I can do a lot of mistakes in English. You will forgive me for that. But of course, this is soul storming about reconnective healing. So we have Chelsea, of course. It's arriving. So we have Lexi, we have Barbara, we have Mary. Okay, we have Bobby. So we have a lot of people here that is very, very, grounded in what is reconnective healing and with a lot of experience about reconnective healing. So it's in this way that I want, just for the people that is new, Julie, of course, sorry. I have, just the first line here in front of me of people. Of course, Julie, I'm sorry. So, of course, it's in this way that I want to start, this series of talks that we will have about reconnective healing. And I think this is very important to start just giving, for the people that is totally new, one idea about what is reconnective healing. Because, of course, there are a lot of modalities about energetic healings. There are a lot of techniques. We know, because all the tradition of that is full of rituals, but actually reconnective healing is not a technique, is not a ritual, okay? And this is totally different if we are comparing reconnective healing with other modalities. Let's call it in this way for the moment, okay? Because one of the really FAQ, one of the most frequently asked questions, it's a kind of Reiki. It is not a kind of Reiki. Okay, so this is the first thing that we have to share with you. Reconnective healing is not a channeling of energy. It's not also a transfer of the energy of the practitioner to the client or to who is receiving. Is something totally different. And the practitioner, and here we have some future practitioners of reconnective healing that I'm very happy to meet tonight. They will discover how to be a catalyst, okay, for the others. So not even being practitioners, being this element that is super important, because without this element, the reaction, like in chemicals, is not happening. But that is not mixing his energy with the energy of the field and with the energy of the universe. So what is the real, core of reconnective healing? Observing, listening, playing. Not using any kind of, we call them healing toys, or better, healing objects for this moment. You will see why we are calling it toys during the training program. It will be surprising, trust me. Okay, so we are not using any object, because every time that we are giving to something, external, also to someone external of you, the power to determine yourself, we are losing something. But maybe we are not losing in truth, but we feel that without this specific object, we can't anymore do something. And we are falling in the vibration of lack, of limitation. We are falling, in different kind of vibration that is not the kind of vibration that really we want to bring during a session of rebalance. Because what we are doing with reconnective healing is rebalancing. We are rebalancing the system, and the energetic system, of course. And with this kind of rebalance, then miracles can happen. So, of course, we don't have to think about miracles in the religious way to think, but miracles, a miracle is everything is surprising you. It's everything that actually, for some kind, of laws of the universe, it can't really exist. It can't really happen, but it's happening. It's happening, without the permission of the science, without the permission of what is really, thought, till now. And it's actually, the beautiful part of the job. We are facilitating reconnective healing without any expectation, because again, expectation can poison with the mind, the interaction. We are just playing and having a good time, with the experience of reconnective healing. I can tell from my perspective that reconnective healing is using, pass me this term, the energy like it is, without adding anything, without betraying the intelligence of the universe with our ego, without trying to force a specific result, without having, this kind of fear or this kind of sensation to be obligated to reach a certain kind of result, or also in the full consciousness that we are one, in the full consciousness that energy is energy, and we are leaving the intelligence of the universe to go exactly where it's the right for the evolution of the person, not maybe for the specific healing. Guglielmo, I came, to your office with a strong headache. Please cure me. Please heal me from the headache. Maybe, of course, can pass you the headache. Maybe it's happening something different, something more, something that is leaving you without words, amazed. And maybe the headache is still there, but a greater change is happening in your life. So the concept of healing is the real concept that we have, to observe in a different way. Healing is balance at every kind and every level possible. This is what reconnective healing is giving you. And I'm happy to have tonight the possibility to speak with such a experienced practitioner, of course, John and Cecilia, but also the life leaders, because all of us, we are witnessing something in our life. In my case, I started in my past life, not in my past life, but in my life of a few years ago, I was a lawyer. So I was totally out of the subject of the energetic healings or the meditation. I was also I was skeptical, I have to admit it. But it was a journey of 14 years. In these 14 years, I tried with all my forces to give a possibility to my little brother with a cerebral palsy. And actually, I tried everything. So you can tell me, what do you think about XYZ, the technique? What do you think about this kind of feeling? What do you think about the energy of these kind of spirits or aliens? I don't know. I did everything because I needed it. Okay. And from the experience, the only thing that really worked exactly like our founder, Dr. Eric Pearl, was telling from the stage, it was reconnective healing. So my brother received this rebalancing. From this rebalancing, also his body started to heal, but not just his body, his mind, his state of mind, his perspective for the life, and the smile that is not missing in any moment of the day on his face. The quality of the life changed. Of course, my brother is not running the marathon, but what reconnective healing did for him, it is what I'm witnessing around the world all the days of my life for many years many hours, sorry, also many years, but many hours per day. This is what is reconnective healing. And reconnective healing is beautiful because it's not just for humans, it's also for animals and if you want, for plants. I saved a full balcony of my grandmother because it was totally dry during the summertime in Italy. It's very hot. Okay. I said, listen, reconnective healing, they did the experiments about the plants. They seen that they're restoring and, you know, returning, you know, green. Let's just try it. I have to tell that is working also with the plants. Reconnective healing is beautiful because you can do it by distance. Reconnective healing is beautiful because it's not needing any kind of permission. How I can facilitate to someone a session with a permission? By distance. And I don't need to knock to open the door. Is like when you are giving, you know, or you are doing just a kind of gift to someone else. You don't need to ask the permission. You don't need, you know, a specific signature on a paper, you know, to just witness that we are one, right? And again, the catalyst role. So doing these 2-3 steps away from our ego is permitting us to observe with consciousness. And this conscious observation of the field is changing the field itself, and it's bringing this rebalancing. And this is the awareness that we will teach all together to you, not just in San Antonio, all around the world, in all the catalyst training programs of the world. So this is this conscious observation of the field, but starting from the position that you are enough, that you don't need anything external, that you don't need anything like a background. So you don't need to be a super shaman expert that is, I know, doing trips with ancestors. It's not needed. You don't need, you know, to be a medic. You don't need to be, you just need to be yourself. And being yourself, this will bring you in the right place, in the right moment, facilitating reconnective healing. From the science, they are telling us, so I'm doing a very quick recap because I want to listen the witness that today we will have. So from the perspective of the science, we can tell that reconnective healing is a negative entropy phenomenon. What does it mean, negative entropy? Let's do it super simple but clear. The negative entropy is the opposite of the entropy. That is, let's call it the universal law that is telling that everything into this universe, into this three-dimensional, I call it universal monopoly, because we decided to come here with this strange kind of rules, being in a physical body, being you know, here for a limited time, to try to rediscover ourselves without knowing who we are. So this is a kind of monopoly, you know, when you pick the card, you know, and say, okay, now who I am. Exactly. So negative entropy is the opposite of the entropy, and the entropy is the law that is telling that into this plan, everything from the order is falling apart to the disorder. But we are doing the opposite. So from the disorder, we are returning to the order. But be careful, not the order that maybe you have in your mind. Maybe, and of course, not maybe, the order that is your real order, that is your real essence, that is your real, you know, part of the universe in which you are also with the physical body. So you are returning in balance at every kind, in every kind and at every level. of harmony, of joy, of perspective. And also you can look forward, into your life with a totally different way to observe your actions, to observe your decisions. Okay, also being respected from the others, also respect the other in another way, because when you are vibrating, in an harmonic way, you will start to attract, okay, what is really good for you, what is really good for your essence. Of course, I didn't tell a lot of things about reconnective healing, and this is the reason why we will have more and more calls like this. But today I asked to Cecilia and to Joan really to give, like a representative of the American team, to give their witness about reconnective healing. I didn't prepare anything, and I did it in purpose because I wanted to listen the free, the free wave of Cecilia and of Joan, the free speech without any preparation, without tell them this, that is beautiful. I want just to listen them like human beings, like souls, and like very experienced instructor and practitioners of reconnective healing. So please, if you want to start, Cecilia, it will be a pleasure for me listening you.
Thank you so much, Guglielmo. Hi, everyone. It is my honor to be here. I am so grateful to be part of the Reconnective Healing world, part of the Reconnective Healing family. I am Cecilia Sams, and I am an instructor of Reconnective Healing and the personal reconnection. And I was one of the team that created the Reconnective Kids class. And that is near and dear to my heart. And we're bringing it back. And it's just so beautiful, powerful, because people of all ages, young or old, no matter what you've gone through in your life or are about to go through in your life, you have access to reconnective healing and these frequencies, and you have access to know how to shift your being at any moment, in any moment, at any time. And that's what we want to teach the kids, because they're just getting started. And because they're the kids, they're just recently into this human body. And so they're still remembering that which is still of spirit and source and magical, and they haven't been taught not to do it the human way. So they're still connected, and they are brilliant and wonderful and powerful, and it's just my great joy to teach them. And I go back, the kids class, it is taught in 2 hours. We teach the adults in 2 days. So you can imagine how much they get from it. It's much shorter. They're not going to be practitioners from the 2 hours, but they are going to know how to move in a greater confidence and powerfulness for themselves moving forward. And so it's really beautiful. But I, as Joan was saying, I came to this work in 2004. I found it in 2004. I was a Reiki master teacher, pranic healer, theta healing, EFT healing, touch shamanism. I learned a lot of things, and it was fun. And it was more of a game and a toy for me at first, but then I realized how much people were learning and healing and stuff. So I became a Reiki master teacher, and I was practicing with a center where all these people learned of all these different things. We had a community. It was beautiful. It was powerful. We would have gatherings and retreats, and it was fun. And I was having a good time enjoying that which was spirit and that which was showing up in the healing forms, until one day a client comes in and there's a knot in the pit of my stomach, and I'm going in to do Reiki. I said, okay, interesting. Maybe it's something to do with this person, what's going on with this stomach thing. And we do the session. I come out, my next client comes in, and there's a knot in the pit of my stomach again. I was like, wow, 2 in a row. That's really interesting. Okay, so here we go again. And we do the session, and then I come out, my third client comes in, and there's a knot in the pit of my stomach. And I was like, all right, what is this? Because this is not them now. I know it's me. Now I know something else is going on. So inside I ask, what is this? And I hear without words, I feel in my body. It's bigger, it's easier, it's more. But all right, well, whatever it is, I'm ready, show me. And so soon after that, I found myself at a bookstore. The book, The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself, was sitting on a bookshelf like it had a spotlight, but that wasn't the lighting of the room. But it got my attention. I picked up the book, and as soon as I touched the book, I felt like I was struck with lightning. I felt electrical currents moving up and down my body. It was pulsating, it was vibrating. I was like, wow. And I opened the book, and I'm thumbing through the pages, and I get to a page, and it says, you don't need the candles, you don't need the flowers, you don't need that. And I was like, and I'm laughing in the store because I know I don't need them. And I know I've been playing it so well because I am not medically trained. So for me to be in a room to do healing for somebody else, I was on it. I had my flowers, my incense, my candles, my crystals, my pendulums. I had all of it. I was ready because I was taught and I was trained, and this is how I was given permission to be in the room. And now I'm told, you don't need any of that. It's like, I know, but it was freeing to me to know that. And so now I couldn't go back. I dove into the book, and I realized, this is it. This is it. This is why my body is pulsating. And so I registered for a training program. I was going to be in 2005, early 2005, but I had several months before the training program. But reading the book, picking it up, being hit with lightning, already my clients are now responding like Eric describes in the book. You can't get away from it. Once you have accelerated your vibration, once you have encountered these frequencies, once you know it is within you, you can't shut it up. And you shouldn't shut it up. And you should just let it be and let it continue. And so I get to the training program, and we're doing the exercises, and they're responding the way they're now responding in my session room. And I'm like, oh, now I just get to call it what it is. Thank goodness, this is my new normal. And as soon as I thought that, I felt like I was a hot air balloon being blown up, and there was more. I was like, wow, it continues to become more. It's bigger, it's easier, it's more. That was the message I received. And that's the message that's still true to me today. For almost 19 years now, I have been sharing this work around the world, empowering people, thousands of people around the world, kids, children, everyone, every age has this. It is them. And when you recognize it and let it thrive, let it grow, let it be bigger, easier, more. Don't try to direct it. Don't try to analyze it. Don't try to understand what exactly is coming through, because I couldn't possibly imagine how to fix somebody's leg that was shorter from birth, a birth defect. I couldn't possibly imagine how to fix a locked jaw. I couldn't possibly imagine how vision can return. I couldn't imagine how to do that. So get my mind out of the way, just be present, observe, and let the universe bring about whatever's going to show up. And yes, those things happen, but what's more exciting and wonderful, the beings themselves, the relationships they have with their family, their friends, their loved ones, their community, their work, everybody, their pets. It just begins to shift, and things start moving into place, and things that no longer serve them and no longer have brought them happiness start to move away. And you know what? You have to let them move away because it no longer serves you. Let it go. It's on its path to do something else for somebody else and be there for somebody in another way. It's time for you to embrace who you are. And that's where this is taking us. That's what the future is, continuing to expand and discover more, be ready for more, and say yes to more. That's what this work is. So this work is empowering. Everyone is vibrating right now. And what shows up in Reconnective Healing is an acceleration of this vibration, allowing more. So it's bigger, it's easier, it's more. That's the voice I still live with today. I just want the world to know what's possible.
Thank you very much, because it was exciting to me listen after 19 years, you know,
Yeah.
that you are excited like the first day, or more, because you know, during this time you of course discovered more. And
Mm.
you know, this is the perfect you know, witness how is reconnective healing gifting you something every day, the how reconnective healing is giving you more and more every day. And of course you can't, let's say, you can't go back, you can't go back. So when
Mm.
you are when you are in the perfection of course of the kind of feeling, etc., you know that you can't add anything to the perfection. And you have just to contemplate, to observe, and being, instead of doing a healing. Because when for example, we have here Jean, or we have here Yolanda, that will participate to San Antonio training program, no? When they will come to San Antonio, you know, to have their training programs, we will not teach how to do reconnective healing, but they will be there to transform themselves in reconnective healing. They will be reconnective healing after the 2 days of the catalyst, or if they want, you know, to stay more also to the level 3 RCPP, in which we are teaching the reconnection. So this is really the kind of excitement, this is really the kind of energy that of course I am not experienced like you, Cecilia, but this is what is bringing us to expand it all around the world. And this is making me smile and making me more and more excited, because I'm sure that this is just the beginning, and every day is just the beginning, and every second is just the beginning of something greater, more beautiful, more balanced. And I have to tell, I have to share, it's just my idea. That is a kind of responsibility in these strange days that we are living all around the planet, maintaining your balance, because you like one point of the field, you know, you have the power to change the full field. And because the field we see that is doing something strange in the last years, maybe it's better having our responsibility and start from yourself to rebalance, and then bring, you know, this beautiful the light to the others. So this is just my perspective, that I don't want to convince anyone about this, but it's my deep feeling, you know, speaking about reconnective healing every day and being very merged in the frequencies every day. This is just my very personal idea. John, we want to hear something from you, your personal idea about what is reconnective healing and what gave you, you know, in all these years.
So I googly like you, I didn't come from a healing background. So I'm actually trained as an engineer, and I went to the United States Military Academy, West Point, graduated in the 3rd class of women out of there. So I led a pretty structured life until reconnective healing. But in 2008, a good friend of mine left the book, The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself, on my coffee table. And I just, you know, I didn't read stuff like that. I was down with reading technical manuals at the time, but nothing like that. And so when I picked it up, I could feel this electrical surge, and I dropped it, and I thought, oh my God, my friends got me, you know. So I went to the kitchen drawer, and I picked out the wooden spoon, you know, the spaghetti spoon that's like flavored from like 20 or 30 years of being in the sauce. I took the little metal hook out of the end of it, and I started to go through the book to try to find the electrical shock device. And I didn't find one. So there was nothing in there. And I thought, oh my goodness, I need to pay attention. And as I picked the book up again, I could feel that current of electricity. I went to my home office. I put a note on my door, do not disturb. That was mostly so I could hide out and read the book. Do not disturb, network problem in process. Who knew it was my network problem I was working on? And as I read the book, I could feel this current of electricity surging up and down my body. And I sort of felt the truth of what Eric was saying in his story. The next thing I knew, we were talking about if you pick up the book or maybe you have a healing session, you start to become this work. You start to become the frequencies. And as I would lay down at night, and I didn't tell my partner or my son that I had read the book or anything was going on. I even scheduled a couple of healings and the reconnection. As I would lay down at night to go to sleep, I would look over and I would see my son in full register. He was only 3 and he was flopping all around. And I could see my partner in register too. Her eyes were blinking. I signed up for the course. My partner went to. One of the miracles was we took our son with us. We had no idea how we were going to have child care, but the universe is always looking out for you. When we arrived, for some reason, one of his classmates from Washington, D.C. was up in Massachusetts, and her mother took him for that weekend for play date with her daughter. So we had the whole weekend to really not worry about anything, just observe and notice and have a great time at the seminar. I went home on Monday after the seminar and I sat down at my desk at my telecom engineering job with Verizon. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if I just wasted my money. I still wasn't a believer, but I was diligent about finding out if it worked. We had a lab, and I was a lab at my work, and I was going to use it. And I was going to find my people and put them in there and try it out on them, because they didn't believe. So, and Eric said it worked on, it didn't matter. It worked on you whether you believed or not. So fortunately, my 2 best friends came in early that morning, and I said, hey guys, I went to a seminar this weekend. And they said, oh, you went to the seminar on the new switch and router that Cisco has? And I said, not really. It was a healing seminar. And they were like, oh, you're going to be off of the lunch bunch on Friday. That's kind of weird, I said, yeah, but there's some science behind it. And I started to explain to them about DNA. At that time, in our network data center area, we were already installing fiber optics. It was the new thing then. And they understood about light and coherence. So I talked to them about DNA and how we could observe that the light was more coherent that was going through the DNA, and it repaired faster and the resistance was reduced. With engineers, it's really very easy to talk in those terms. Resistance is ohms, and that was reduced, and the light was more coherent. They get that. So they were like, oh, okay. And they said, well, how can we help you? I said, well, I don't really know if it works, but I need some guinea pigs. And they were up for it. So we went to the lab, and Eric says it works no matter what jewelry or machines are running. Well, behind this table I laid out as a metal table. Behind it was this blinking bank of switches. God knows how much electricity was running through there. And so I asked Brian to lay down first on my metal table. That's all I had. I didn't have a massage table. And I asked him to close his eyes, and as he closed his eyes, and I just brought my hand up, his eyes started to flutter, and then his hands started to go up and down, and his feet were going windshield wiper back and forth. And Chris was standing on the side laughing at him, and then they were just both laughing. It was just all of 5 minutes. It was really fun, and you should have a good time. And then they switched off, and then Chris was on the table next. And same thing happened. His feet were moving, his eyes were fluttering, and they were just laughing. It was really, I didn't know what to think. I was still on the fence as to whether it worked. And so a week went by, and Brian came by my cube, and he sort of stood outside sheepishly, and he said, "Hey, you know that thing you did in the lab last week?" He said, "I never told you, but I've had for 13 years, I've had neuropathy. And I didn't want to tell you, but too soon, because I was afraid it would come back. But the day, just right after you did that thing with us, I didn't have it anymore." I mean, this was debilitating for him. It affected him not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. He couldn't play ball with his kid. He couldn't walk in the park with his wife. So I said, "Well," I said, "sometimes it works like that." And he was like, "Well, thanks." And for me, what it taught me were all those things. You don't need to know what the limitation is, right? I didn't know he had neuropathy, honestly. This is a great lab experiment. I didn't know that Brian had neuropathy. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just, I was being playfully engaged, and we were all just laughing. It only took all of 5 minutes. So, it doesn't take a really long time. And I wasn't focused on the feet. I think I was just like above his head, and in some cases around his hands. So I wasn't focused in that area. It was intelligence, the intelligence of the universe, that facilitated this balance, not only in his physical life, but in his spiritual and emotional life with his family. And so I thought, goodness gracious. And I went out and did other experiments. I went out and I joined a Reiki group, the engineer with the massage table going into the Reiki group, not knowing anything. They were totally fascinated. They wanted to know, what are you doing? Why is that person moving around? So I knew that the frequencies, this intelligence wanted to make itself visible, and everybody wanted to have a session. They wanted to know about it. And I find that today, even as I speak about it or engage people with feeling the frequencies anywhere, opportunities open up that I cannot even imagine. So after a year of experimenting, I decided, I need to step up. I need to bring this work in a greater way to the world. And I couldn't stop talking about it. And the miraculous nature of the healings that were happening in my own practice, I couldn't deny. And so I wanted to say more in a bigger way. And I noticed that when we went to the seminars as a team, I would notice the quality of the light would change in people's eyes throughout the weekend. It would become more clear. During the Catalyst program, as we guide you through these exercises, we reveal this illusory quality of time and space via these exercises we do in holographic and distance healing. There's a clarity that emerges, a clarity in thought, a clarity in action, a clarity in communication. It's as if nothing is hidden, and there's a feeling of like great, overwhelming compassion for each other. It's like an emanation of unspoken light and love. And to be a part of that, and to meet others who are interested in that and wanting to move forward with it has been a great joy in my life. So anyway, that's all I have to say, but thank you for hearing me, for receiving me. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And thank you for reminding me also, in my environment of lawyers, because of course I went to the training program, but I thought to do it just for my brother. Not even me, I was totally interested in it. Okay. But for my brother, of course, I did it. So I seen the beautiful healing of my brother, etc., etc. Then, but I was still working, in a lawyer office, and there were, I remember, 12 or 13 lawyers there. And one day, one of them said to me, just, just to speak, I have a terrible, stomach ache, and this is happening when I'm too nervous, and I know that I have to discuss in the court of law this specific case that is very complex. So I said, listen, sit down. I didn't have any massage table. Sit down. Don't judge me. Don't. But I want to try something with you. Can I? Well, of course, everything, because I taken some Malox. I don't know if in the USA you have this very strong, medicine. These Malox, and I had, but nothing is working for me anymore. And this is continuously, really upsetting me, and I'm not working well. So please do it. So I said, sit down, close your eyes, and I just like 4 or 5 minutes, no more. And he opened his eyes and he said, how did it? How you did it? I said, did what? And he said, but my stomach is not anymore burning. So I'm taking pills, medicine, I'm going to the best doctors. What's happening here? I said, don't ask me, because I didn't want, to show too much. And but the second day came another lawyer. He said, I'm very nervous, and I have here behind my neck a terrible tension. do the same that you did yesterday to my colleague. And I said, what the fuck? So I started again to do it. I feel more relaxed, etc., etc. I tell you, after 2 weeks, I arrive a little late this day in the office, and I seen a giant box in close to the box of the secretary. And I asked to her, "What's that?" Hey, she said, "It's your massage table." My massage table? I didn't order absolutely that. So maybe it's a mistake. And then one of them show up and said, no, we both, because when you are facilitating to us this, we want to lie down now. I said, hey, listen, now you have to pay the session. It's not anymore for free. It is not any. And this is the very left brain, very skeptical people, that they are surprised because they are not in a state of expectation, as we say during the training program. We are in the state of expectancy, and they're open because they don't even believe. And this is the beauty of reconnective healing, because reconnective healing can't be blocked by your beliefs, by your brain. It can be blocked by your fears, or the fear to heal. That is something that also can happen psychologically to someone of us. So it's bypassing totally the concept of the mind. We don't care about the mind. We are using the energy like it is. And this is so thank you very much, John, because I was forgetting this first experience with people that was not of my family. So, and it was really, really funny. And of course I was the younger, in all the office. And then I think this was the first message of the universe, that I had to leave this job and I have, to accept, the kind of, I don't like to tell mission, because mission is something that is recalling, religious or war concept, etc. This is just what my soul come here to do. Okay, so, and recognizing it also is one of the benefits of reconnective healing, but also of the reconnection. So maybe we will introduce some concepts about the personal reconnection and how to learn it next time, because I don't want to bother too much our audience, but I want, yes, to listen some of our life leaders if they have something beautiful to share. Again, not programming anything, but leaving them, in the flow and in the in being inspired directly from the frequencies and from the universe. So who wants to share something of you? Just
I'll
me,
start.
please go ahead.
Guillaume, it's Lexi.
Yes,
I'd be glad to go first.
sure.
I this is real fun because like Joan and like you, I had been I had a very difficult, dysfunctional childhood, and a lot of car accidents. But I had graduated by the time I was 16 and left home, and I started college at 17. And so I was working as an attorney by the time I was 23, because it was very safe for me to live in my head. And so for the next 22 years, I had practiced law. And it was very interesting because even through the 22 years that I practiced law, I was involved in all these accidents. And it was the last accident, my 10th accident. And my son was with me in this last accident. And it was that accident where I had really become severely desperate, because I had always been self-sufficient after I had left. And after this last accident, I had to have 7 surgeries before I could even think of walking again. And so to be able, I had to rely on my parents, who I had never relied on before financially. So things shifted completely. And so then I was looking for help, any type of help that I could find whatsoever. And so as soon as I called out for this help, a video appeared. It was called The Living Matrix. And that's where I saw Dr. Eric Pearl healing a little boy who had cerebral palsy. And, and then I could see this incredible way of healing, because after being in so many accidents before, I'd go to all these medical doctors and try all these different techniques and acupuncture and Reiki and all these different things. And this was very different than anything else that I had ever seen before. So I just had to have it. And I couldn't afford to go to any of the classes that were outside of the not only outside the country, but they were outside of Colorado, where I lived. And so finally in March of 2017, the first level became available. The portal, it became available. So I purchased the portal, and that was it. I was watching the portal day and night, and everything. I got everything reconnective healing that I could find, the books that were available. And then it just so happened that in September of 2017, Dr. Eric and Jillian were going to come to Colorado. So all these things, they just clicked so well together. And I had finished like my 7 surgeries in 2 years. And I had the last surgery I had, I couldn't get out of bed for 10 months. But for Dr. Eric and Jillian to come in September of 2017, I was going to do whatever I had to do to be able to get out of bed. So I got out of bed, I took my oxygen tank and put my things in my car and I was going to stay overnight at the hotel, and I just drugged myself by sheer strength. I was going to get there, and at that time they had the programs on Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday, and Friday, the first night, I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to sit up anymore. And then I made it through Friday just fine. And then Saturday, I woke up and I was totally refreshed. I was ready to go down and be in the class, because being with people is so much different than, Zoom or even the portal. It was magical to me. And by the end of that weekend, I was walking. I was not using my oxygen, and I could move around and stand up and sit down. So it was a total healing for me that was just beyond anything that I could think of. And so this to me was very, very magical. And there have been other moments in my life, and I've become in a situation now where I am able to feel beings, the energies that are around me. And sometimes I even hear not words, but it's more like feelings that I'm experiencing from something that comes to me. And this sort of takes a little bit of a twist, but then about 10 days later, both of my parents were killed from carbon monoxide poisoning. And it was a very difficult process for me to get through the probate with my sister. And if I didn't have reconnective healing, I would never have been able to make it through, because, getting involved in probate, that's more law. And I had been taken out of law by this accident. I mean, it was no longer something that I could do or be or feel. But one of the things that happened to me was the day before my parents' final, the closing of their estate, I had this feeling of this being come through the wall, and I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And I somehow recognized the shape and a color of gold. And I was just in this state of, and then the feeling was, everything's going to be all right. And it left. And the next day, everything was all right. It was over. And then I had been heavily involved with the Reconnection, and Dr. Eric and Jillian, they gave me the privilege of selecting life leaders, individuals who were and are the heart of the Reconnective Life community. And life leaders, life means living in the frequencies every day. And so now you've met Chelsea, and you've met Barbara and Mary and Julie, and there's other life leaders too, but we have created this community that involves this energy and love and light. And it's all for the reconnective healing experience. And so the community that comes together from these frequencies has just evolved and modified, expanded, just really changed all of us. And we are very grateful to each other, and we're very close. So it's a community that I have not experienced before, ever. And so I'm very proud that the life leaders are with us.
Thank you, and thank you really very much to share with all of us these deep experiences that you had, and explaining, as you know, how is important, to have the awareness about reconnective healing in difficult moments, also in difficult moments. So it's helping you every day. It's in any kind of situation. So I'm really grateful to you, not just for your witnesses, but also because of, I know the job that you are doing every day with coordinating and, helping us. And so I want to share it publicly, that we really appreciate all of that. So thank you very much. So
Thank you.
thank you. So we have time, I think, just for one more quick life leader that want to share something, then a couple of Q&A, and then we will meet, of course, again in the future. And because I'm liking it, honestly, I think to multiplicate this moment of gatherings all together. So who wants to share something?
I'll share quickly.
Barbara.
And thank you,
Barbara.
everybody who's, hi. And I just want to thank you, Guglielmo, for inviting us, and everybody else who's talked. I think a lot of my experience with reconnective healing, and I've been involved since 2010, kind of reflects what everybody else has said. So I'm not going to repeat that. But one thing that I want to add, and I'm sure others have felt this too, but for me, it's huge. I've noticed that my own life has gone through such a healing. And I come from a healthcare background. I started out as a medical assistant. I became an RN, an acupuncturist. I was a Reiki master teacher. I was a Qigong instructor. I did a lot of other types of energy work. And reconnective healing is kind of like my end point. It's really all I need. And in addition to the healings that I've seen others, my clients, experience, I've noticed just kind of on my day-to-day living situation, how life has become so much more joyful for me and so much easier to navigate through. And I know it's because of my involvement with reconnective healing. So I'm just going to leave it there, because I think that to me, that just says it all. It's just such a gift and such a joy. So thanks.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much also, because really you shared with us something important in a very short time. It's also something important from from the perspective of as instructors, because the timings are very important. So really, before going to the Q&A, for first, I want really to thank all the people that participated here live, and I want also to thank all the people that will listen to the recordings. I want to mention that reconnective healing training programs are present all around the world in a specific way. In the USA, we will do it in English in San Antonio, Texas, in Spanish in Orlando, Florida. And maybe we will add something more. We will see. We will have, of course, Toronto. We will have a lot of possibilities. And all around the world, actually, we are always speaking English, Italian English, okay, and the language of the place. Okay, so if you liked this slang during this call, maybe you can think also to come somewhere around the world. Now, for the people, sorry, for the people that really are already enrolled and they're asking me, but they're missing a lot of time to the training program. What I can do? First, try a reconnective healing session in presence or by distance. We have a directory on the reconnection.com website, and I'm really encouraging you to have your personal reconnective healing session and or the personal reconnection, because this is something that we didn't speak about today, but we will speak maybe next time. And it's something really surprising, and I will share my story with the reconnection that was really a game changer. Okay. And then, of course, there are the books. We've spoken just about the first book of Dr. Eric, that is Reconnective Healing, Heal the Others, Heal Yourself. But now you are very lucky because it's written in English. You don't need the translation. So buy also The Direct Path to Healing, that is the new book. So it's totally new. I had the privilege to read it already. So Dr. Eric and Gillian sent to me a copy. So it's very beautiful, and it's preparing, in my perspective, it's preparing you very well to the Catalyst training program. So I think it's really something that you want to consider to do before coming, and also after the training program. Exactly like the level 1 online in the portal, I suggest always to complete it before the training program and watch it again after the training program, because like the second time that you are reading the book after your life experiences, after the training program, watching again the portal, it's something that will give you more and more awareness about the reconnection and reconnective healing, of course. So these are my suggestions. Of course, participate to our online gatherings and keep in touch continuously, because this is the series, the path to the one experience of, in this case, San Antonio, but for who is listening as from Europe or from Japan, from other kind of countries, of course, this is the starting of something huge. So participate and being with us. So let's open up to a couple of questions, and I will give you a big hug for tonight. I know that at certain timings it's late already, but I really promise it some Q&A, and we will do. Gino,
Gino, I'm here.
Gino, tell me.
I'm not following the rules here because I don't have a question, but one thing I wanted to say is to thank all the life leaders that shared. They were all very inspirational. And Cecilia, you started and you just had me all through your story. I'm so excited, re-excited again. So thank you. I have now been studying everything online, all the books I've been reading 2 or 3 times. I'm part of the community. I've done everything for about 8 months now. So it's time to finally go to San Antonio and get this done. I can't wait. So yeah, so thank you, everyone. That's basically all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Jean, and it will be a pleasure having you like attendee, but of course you will have a lot of also to share during San Antonio program. So all my appreciation. Thank you very much. Any question? Or
Cindy Summers is waving.
Perfect.
Open your mic. You're still muted, dear. There you go.
Hi, hello. It's very nice to meet you, Cecilia. It's good to see you. I don't know where you. Oh, there you are. I'm so excited about this, and I'm so sorry I signed up for this today, but I did have a church function to be at, and I just got on about half hour ago. So I hope that I'll be able to watch the whole thing over again if there's a tape. But I have signed up for the San Antonio thing, and I was with Cecilia for the reconnection, and it was so amazing. And unfortunately, as soon as I got home, and I was on like cloud nine, but as soon as I got home, I had a flood in my house, my basement. There was huge torrential rains here, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I never got to, do anything with the reconnection, to facilitate it. But I do the reconnective healing. And I love it. And I have an amazing thing that happened with one of my clients, that not only did his headache go away in 20 minutes, but he had a terrible migraine that he always took pills for, and it never came back again. And he told me, and 6 months later, he said, my headache never came back. And then he told me again, he goes, my knees used to hurt all the time. They don't hurt either. And I was like, oh my God. So I am so excited. I'm so excited. And the only thing I got scared about, it's not going to be in Spanish, is it? It's going to be in English, right?
It will
In
be.
San Antonio, it's English.
It
Orlando,
will-
Spanish.
Yes. So,
well, in English, my English. So
yeah. Just fine. Your English is fine.
in English.
I'm looking so forward to this, because it really has made a difference in my life too. And I can't wait to absorb all that energy again and everything. It was wonderful. And when I had the reconnection done by Joan, that was amazing. That was amazing, because for the 2 sessions that you do before you could do the, even I think the freelance, yeah, that was amazing. So again, I'm so excited to go through this again, and yeah. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for being there, and it's so good to see you all.
Thank you
So,
very
thank
much for sharing. So it's always beautiful, sharing these vibrations, sharing, this excitement. So I'm super happy actually of this call that we had. And of course, for everyone is listening and watching it, just like recording, you can write to info@reconnectiveacademy.com to post your questions, and we will answer to the next live. So or also all of you that you are here, today, and maybe 5 minutes after that we hung up, and it's coming, the fantastic question that you didn't. Well, you can write info@reconnectiveacademy.com. We will share during the next call. Okay, so it's open, and of course, all the questions that you will make me receive by email, I will answer all of them. Okay, next time. We have just Mary, and then we close.
I have one sentence that came to me as I was listening to all of you. Reconnective healing is a balancing that becomes a blossoming. And listening to all of you and how it has blossomed in your lives is just the best thing in the world.
Thank you very much. And I can see the emotion in your eyes. So I think really, Cecilia, Joan, we reached the target of today, that is just sharing reconnecting, just speak about reconnecting. And just speaking about reconnective healing, it's already bringing us something. This is the importance of this call. So I'm very grateful. Really, I'm very grateful to all of you. I hope to see you soon during the next live. I hope to see you in San Antonio. I hope to see you during the live. And I would like really, this is the next generation of reconnective healing practitioners into the world. So we have the future in front of us, and walking into the future with reconnective healing will be easier, with more balance, with more certainty, and knowing better ourselves. And also, it will be a topic that we will touch next time. Maybe with Dr. Eric and Gillian, maybe. I'm not promising anything. Okay? So thank you very much. Have a very good night, have a very good life, and see you very soon here on Zoom and in all the field. Ciao. See you soon.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sweet
Thanks.
dreams.
Thank you.